Hello, this is Carolyn Engebretson, President of the Becker County Historical Society, coming to you again with in our series on the wars that our citizens have been involved with. Today we are on Becker County Museum Roadshow. We'll be talking with George Peters about the Korean War. Now that is sometimes called the Forgotten War, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it seems to have gone by the wayside. It was never addressed as a war. It was always called a conflict, the Korean conflict. And I think that's the forgotten war.
Yeah. I did some research and found it, fascinating that it was, I always thought it was divided after the conflict, but it was really divided before the conflict.
Yes, it was. It was recognized by the Korean government on both the North and the South end as a split peninsula. And the North Koreans invaded South Korea. Right. And that's what started the war.
Yeah. And you have an interesting story. You were awfully young, George.
We were all young once.
Oh, that's true, but you went to war at such a young age.
Well, I went in the service at 16. My dad signed the papers and agreed, although he told tales that I was 17, and you had to be 17 at the time. Okay. But my dad signed the parental permission papers and said I was 17. And I went in June of 1951. Okay. So. And I took my basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, where the terrorists are acting up now. Yes. And then I went to Fort Benning, Georgia to jump school to become airborne, and then I went to Ranger School. And I was shipped to Korea that year. You were shipped. You went on ship. Absolutely. Everybody went on ship in them days. My husband has had horrible memories of that. He was sick the whole way. Well, God bless your husband, because he certainly is not the only one. I was on the private Sado S. Memori and was sick all the way. But we left Seattle, Washington, and went to Yokohama, Japan, and got off the ship, and they took us to a place called Camp Drake, Japan, where they issued us rifles and our combat gear. And believe it or not, I met my brother there. Really? And he convinced me to see the chaplain and tell him that I was underage. My brother was also a Korea soldier, older than I. So we did. We met with the chaplain, and the chaplain said, well, you're the one that asked for it all, and the other one that's going to stay. So off we went. We left Camp Drake, Japan, and went to Sasebo, Japan, and got on LCUs and made the Incheon invasion. Oh. To help try to push the North Koreans and Chinese back. Yeah. And that was my introduction to the Korean War. Now, you were young, younger than most of the servicemen, correct? Absolutely, yeah. How did you feel? Were you scared? They always say teenagers are invincible. Well, yeah, you feel that nothing can happen to you, and I was really a cocky little kid, and I felt an adrenaline rush, I guess. Sure. But the first time I saw a dead person, everything changed. Really? And I thought, whoa, what am I doing here? This is serious stuff. Anyway, Korean War, you rotated on a point system. You would earn so many points depending upon where your location was, on the front line or in the support group or whatever. And of course, I was on the front line, and I got wounded there. That was the first Purple Heart I got. I was in Korea. Is that where you got the bullet? No, that came from Vietnam. Okay. But I got wounded there and sent back to Japan. And I was in Tokyo Army Hospital. Harry Truman was the president at the time. Right. And believe it or not, now you got to picture a bunch of young soldiers that are wounded in a hospital, and they had a USO show, and it was his daughter, Margaret Truman, and she sang opera. Yeah. Now, young soldiers don't care about opera, but anyway, we you endured? Sat there and listened to it. Yeah. You'd been through a lot before. Yeah. So that was my Korean War experience, I guess.
Okay. And then they sent you home after that. You didn't go back.
They didn't send me back to Korea, but they did keep me in Japan, rehabilitation-wise. And when I came back, my dad wanted me to get out of the service and go in business with him. So I did. And my dad had bigger dreams than we all should have had. And I stayed out of the service for 2 years, and then I came back in and made a career out of it.
Okay. And we want to thank you for sharing this, and we are certainly glad that you're not one of the 36,000 that we left in the ground.
I'm quite happy about that myself.
Yes. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Carolyn.